Hello, my dears, and welcome to the garden. Today I'd like to share with you one of my favorite stories. You may have heard it before. There are many variations of this story, but this one I seem to like the best. It's a classic tale, and it's called the Teacup Story. I was reading the other day about a couple who, to celebrate their 20th anniversary, went to England. They were connoisseurs of antiques and old things. While window shopping, they came upon an antique shop with some beautiful china of the 18th century, and the wife noticed a teacup, a dainty little cup with an unusual shaped handle. The silver rim had not worn off, even though it had worn with age. They went into the shop and asked the shopkeeper if they could see the cup. Very gingerly, he brought the cup over, cushioned in a handkerchief. She examined the cup under the light, and as she was oohing and eyeing and admiring the cup for its symmetry, its beauty, and the artistry of the flowers, the cup spoke, and this is what it said. "You don't understand. I haven't always been a teacup. There was a time when I was red and clay, and my master took me and rolled me. He rolled me over and over. I yelled for him to please stop and to let me alone because it hurt so badly. And he only smiled and said, 'Not yet.' And then he put me in an oven. Well, I had never felt such heat. I wondered why he wanted to burn me, and I yelled and knocked at the door. I could see him through the opening, and I could read his lips as he shook his head and said, 'Not yet.' Finally, the door opened, and, well, that was quite a relief. I can't begin to tell you how relieved I was to finally be out of that heat. And he put me on a shelf. And well, I began to cool. Quite refreshing, I'd have to tell you. And suddenly he brushed me all over and painted me. Oh, the fumes of the paint was just horrible. 'Stop it. Stop it, please,' I cried. He only nodded. 'Not yet. Not yet.' And then all of a sudden he put me back in the oven, and this time it was hotter than the first one. I knew I would suffocate, and I begged and I pleaded. I even screamed. Oh, if you could have heard me cry. All the time I could see him through the opening, nodding his head, saying, 'Not yet.' And when I knew that there was no hope, that he was just not going to take me out, and I knew that I just was never going to make it, I was quite ready to give up when the door opened and he took me out and placed me on the shelf. I think it was an hour or so later when he handed me a mirror and said, 'Look at yourself.' And I did. And I said, That's not me. That couldn't be me. Oh, look at me, I'm beautiful. Look at all of the wonderful flowers, and I'm beautiful." And then he looked at me and said, "I want you to remember that. I know it hurt to be rolled and patted, but if I had left you, you would have dried up. And I know quite well it made you dizzy to spin you around and around on the wheel, but if I had stopped, you would have crumbled. And I know it hurts. I know that oven was hot and disagreeable, but if I hadn't put you there, you'd have cracked under the first pressure. And I'm well aware that the fumes were bad when I brushed you and painted you all over. But you see, my dear, if I hadn't done that, you would have never hardened. There would have been no color to your life. And if I hadn't put you back in the second oven, you would not have survived very long. And the hardness, well, it would not have held. But my dear, now you are a finished product, and you are exactly what I had in mind when I first dug you as clay from out of the earth. I always find that to be a delightful story. Whatever you're going through, my dear, please hang in there. He sees you and loves you. And until next time, my dear, be well.